Hey, what's up, guys? Oh boy, what a night. First off, let me say to anyone who played the parlay that I suggested, congratulations, you made money tonight. Triple threat came through. Like I said, three of the best fighters in the world. When was the last time either of these three had lost? Mikey Garcia, John Jones, and Chris Cyborg. All three won their fights. Better than even money on that parlay. So congrats to whoever played that parlay. Now, let me start with the UFC. Uh, I actually feel kind of sorry for Daniel Cormier, man. I have been a Cormier fan for years. I was a big Strike Force guy. Of course, Cormier came up through Strike Force, made his name in Strike Force. Cormier is a Louisiana guy like myself. You know, only grew up 2.5 hours from where I live. Um, you know, I think sadly, a lot of casuals and a lot of dummies uh, are going to remember Cormier as a guy who was only champion because Jones messed up or whatever. A guy who couldn't beat Jones. He was good, but he couldn't beat Jones. I think a lot of people are going to look at him like that. I think the image of him crying after the fight during the interview, the crying face he was making, I can see memes and people making fun of that, and that being infamous, which would be sad. I know it's going to happen, which sucks, but Daniel Cormier is an all-time great, no doubt about it. Uh, in my opinion, I know him and Cain Velasquez are close and all this and that. He needs to, if he is going to continue his career, he needs to leave the light heavyweight division. He needs to go back up to heavyweight, and he should try to get that title from Stipe. If he fought Stipe, I would favor Daniel Cormier. Now, the only thing, as we've seen, Miocic is a hell of a hitter, and now DC's lights have been turned out. Okay, his chin has been cracked. So is he going to? Would he be able to handle a shot from Miocic? Now, what that's what I feel he needs to do. Cain Velasquez is too injury prone. He should not leave that accolade off of his legacy. Cormier is almost 40. He does not need to be cutting down 205 anymore. He needs to be fight at his natural weight now. He needs to go up to heavyweight, and he needs to try to get that heavyweight belt to add to his legacy, to be a two-division champ. I think the guy's already a Hall of Famer, but getting that extra belt would be a cherry on top. He needs to, let the friendship go to the side. He can just get the belt and retire. He doesn't have to fight Cain. Cain can, he can try to fight for the belt at another time, but he's too injury prone. So let me get to the fight. I had Cormier winning this fight. I had him winning both rounds. The first round was a toss-up, but I gave it to Cormier because of the sustained leg attack, because he went to Jones' leg so much to where Jones had to switch stances. And I had been thinking about this during the week. With Jones with those skinny legs and Cormier with those tree trunks of his, I felt that he should have attacked those legs, and he did. I wish I would have came on and said that, but in fact he did that, and it was a brilliant strategy. Jones was not expecting it. He really had no defense for it. As a matter of fact, Cormier should have attacked him even more. Those big, strong tree trunks of Cormier was affecting John Jones. All right. So I gave him the first round. Second round, I gave Cormier even bigger. I thought Cormier, was landing cleaner, flusher, harder shots, to the point where he was taunting John Jones. So I gave Cormier that round. And in the third round, what happened? He got caught. The one downfall, the one downside to him in this fight, cost him the fight. Cormier was the smaller guy. He was the older guy. He had less length. John Jones had a significant reach advantage in the arm and legs. Uh, Cormier was too content staying outside, being Superman, eating whatever Jones threw, and coming forward at a sort of a steady pace. He should have closed the distance even more on John Jones. He stayed on the outside too long, and he paid for it. The age, as I mentioned in my Gamzler video, staying on the outside, those 40-year-old reflexes. You could tell during the fight that, of course, with Jones being a high-level athlete with speed, that made it even worse for Cormier. He could not catch and predict all the shots that Jones was throwing. You could see it throughout the fight. Jones would throw, he would feint, and Cormier would be just a tad bit slow. And in the end, he paid for it. He ate a kick to the head, and the guy could not recover. Jones got on top and put him out. I think Big John could have stopped a little earlier, but I understand why he did not. He gave Cormier every chance to go out on his shield, to try to recover, to stay in the fight. He ate about 5 shots that he didn't need to. He was completely out of it. I don't know all of what was said after the fight. I'm pretty sure that will be documented on the Thrill and Agony whenever that's released on Fight Pass. But, he was out of it. I don't know if he was wanting to go after Jones or go after McCarthy or what, but they were trying to hold him back. Dana was telling him to be cool, and he went for the ceremonial announcement or decision, and he stood there for a second and walked off in anger, which caused him to get booed, like he was gonna walk out the cage, but he stayed around, and of course he broke down, which I was hoping he would not, but he did. Just kind of, tough to see. I feel the guy's pain. He wanted to fight bad. His rival got second consecutive victory over him. And I credit Jones. He was classy in victory. He said the right things. He put DC over. I just hope DC, in turn will do the same for Jones and sort of bury the hatchet and congratulate him and not have sour grapes, anything like that. It was tough to see the guy crying during the interview after the fight. But, I kind of wish, like I said at the beginning, I wish they wouldn't have done that. Because, I can just see the memes now, people making fun of the guy, with that crying face he had. He is a notorious crier, emotional guy when he loses. So, congrats to Jones. And he called out Brock Lesnar, of course, which was great. And it did not take some big elaborate call out. It was simply along the lines of Brock Lesnar. If you want to know what it's like to get your ass kicked by a guy who weighs 40 pounds less than you, I'm right here. Something that he said, and the crowd went crazy. And it was simple. It was not over the top. That was all that was needed. No great verbal mic skills needed. Very simple. And that's going to cause up a big storm. People are going to want that fight. I hope we get that fight. And if we get that fight, I will favor John Jones in that fight. Because all we know, Brock Lesnar does not have the best chin. And if Jones catches him on the chin, it will be a nightmare for Brock Lesnar, in my opinion. So, they were talking about Gustafsson and Madison Square Garden, maybe. For Jones, because Lesnar's going to have to serve out his suspension if he comes back and re-enters the testing pool or whatever. So we'll see what happens there. But as far as Cormier goes, I say he should go back up to heavyweight. He should, get kind of an easy kind of win and go for a title shot. That's my opinion. He puts that cherry on top of his career. And that would be great. He can ride up to the sunset. All right. Now, let me talk about Tyron Woodley and Damian Maya. Tyron Woodley, in my opinion, Tyron Woodley needs to be an FS1 Fight Pass fighter. He is the worst champion in the UFC, in my opinion. He is. I said it was Bisping, and now I'm saying it's Woodley. At least Bisping, when you watch him fight, you will see a real fight. You know, at least, even though he may not be the most skilled, even though he may get his ass kicked all the time, at least you're seeing a real fight. At least you are getting what you paid for. You know, Tyron Woodley in his second consecutive pay-per-view fight, his second consecutive fight, lays an egg, man. The guy is scared shitless, in my opinion. He is pretty much drenched before the fight even starts, huffing and puffing, on the outside, on the back foot, not trying to get a finish, just trying to stay outside, so he does not get hurt, taken down, submitted, whatever, so he can hold on to his title. Do just enough to hold on to the title. You know, I mean, terrible. This guy is a terrible pay-per-view fighter, man. You know, he is not even good enough for Fox, man, because I mean, who wants to tune in to a major big time Fox and see a boring fighter? You know, if him and George St. Pierre, and I'm pretty sure they will, if they headline a pay-per-view, I'm not buying it, man. I am not buying it. And I am not a GSP guy. I'm not a GSP fan, but I hope he takes the belt off Woodley. I wished Maya would have, but when it came to this fight, my heart was with Maya, but my head was with Woodley. You know, I felt that Woodley, you know, he was younger, he was, you know, more explosive, he was strong, he had the wrestling base. You know, it was just a lot for Maya to overcome, and we all know Maya is pretty much a one-trick pony. He wants to get you down and submit you. You know, he wants to wrap himself around you and submit you. And, you know, it was difficult for him to do. He could not do it. And it was a terrible fight. At least Maya did try to strike. He landed on Woodley a couple times, but it did not hurt him, put him down. And Woodley was just content staying on the outside, landing a little bit, not even going for the finish, man. You know, crowd cheering, boring. People cutting on their cell phone lights, waving them in the crowd and shit. And Joe Rogan like, I don't know what they're doing. Why do people got the cell phone lights on? Shit, I know why. Because they bored. They trying to make a statement. They'd rather play with their phones, man. You know? So, Tyron Woodley, man, please, somebody take that belt off his ass. I am not, if he main events a pay-per-view, I don't care who it's against. I don't care what's on the card. I'm not buying, man. I can't take paying for this guy and seeing this guy fight as a champion. When he was a challenger, you know, when he was hungry, he was going for finishes and shit, man. You know, but as a champion, he's unbearable. All right. Now, let me go to Cyborg and Tanya Evinger. Look, I'm a little bit mad at Chris Cyborg. Chris Cyborg could have finished this fight at any time she wanted to. She could have finished this fight within the first minute. Hell, when the fight first started, she landed a left jab on Tanya Evinger that put her down, man. You know, a jab on Tanya Evinger put her down. When did this fight finish? I think in the third round. I think third or fourth. I can't even remember. But I didn't take notes tonight. But, you know, she was just in there being patient, you know, picking shots, having clinches with Evinger. She was carrying Tanya Evinger. I think she did this for either one or two reasons. She either wanted to, you know, not blow through Evinger and make her look bad, maybe as a thank you and being grateful for her taking a fight, giving her somebody to fight for the belt, and or she wanted to not scare everybody out there who could potentially fight her. You know, maybe that was a reason that she did that. You know, maybe possibly show some vulnerabilities. Maybe, you know, make some girls want to step up and fight. But you know, the whole time I'm concerned that, you know, she gonna get caught with some shit. You know, she gonna make a mistake and mess up or whatever. You know, but luckily she did not. It was academic, of course. You know, she landed a shot on Evinger. Evinger ate a lot of shots. The chick is tough. I tip my cap to Tanya Evinger. But, you know, this was as predicted. You know, Cyborg got a finish. and it was great to finally see her put the cherry on top of her career, getting the UFC belt finally. This was 6 years overdue. You know, it's ridiculous, man. Now all of a sudden, since Rousey's out of the picture, and they need Cyborg, they need stars. Now they want to put on display and say she's the greatest of all time. She's the most dominant female fighter in the world. All these things that were true for many, many years. And now they finally saying it, because now Rousey's not around to protect. Okay, she's not around to draw pay-per-views and crowds. So now they need to build Cyborg. Years of this woman's career wasted. In my opinion, Cyborg probably is not even in her prime anymore, man. And that's scary. This woman, they were showing highlights of her from her Strikeforce days and the speed and ferocity and power that she was throwing back in the day. She's really not even throwing like that anymore, man. And she's still beating these girls with ease, So, it's kind of sad what they did to Cyborg for years, man. Kept this woman out of the UFC and shit. But it was great to see her get her moment finally, to get that belt wrapped around her waist finally. She deserves it, man. She is, she is the GOAT, man. She's the best female fighter that I've ever seen in this sport, man. Any combat sport, she is the best, bar none. So, congrats to Cyborg. That was great to see. I cannot comment on the Cowboy Robbie Lawler fight, because I had a split screen going on with the Broner Garcia fight, and I was paying attention to that fight more than Cowboy and Robbie Lawler, so I cannot comment on that fight. The only thing I can say about that fight is at the 4-minute and 55-second mark, I turned in the first round. I turned, looked at the screen, and Robbie Lawler was all over Cowboy, had him in trouble with only 5 seconds started in the fight. I'm like, damn, what just happened? What did he do? So I'm assuming he jumped all over Cowboy, which I don't blame him, because Cowboy was a lightweight coming up to welterweight. Robert Lawler should have tried to make a statement coming back. So he did right, and I saw he got the decision, which I'm happy about. Good for Robert Lawler. All right. Both of these men are probably on the downside of their careers. All right. And the Ozdemir Manowar fight. Again, I had split screen going, but I watched this fight as it happened, because I figured it would be a 1-round fight either way. And man, this dude Ozdemir, man, this was truth, man. He is the truth, man. This is he came in to beat OSP. Then he beat the highly touted light heavyweight. What's the guy named? Misha Serkinov, whatever his name is. Knocked him out fast in his last fight in the first round, and now he smoked Jimmy Manowar. It was a beautiful knockout. He hurt the guy on the feet, and he showed no mercy. He pushed the guy. He saw a great opportunity to push the guy down and basically bounced his head off the canvas, and that was it for Manowar. He jumped down, followed up, but he was pretty much done at that point. So credit to Ozdemir, man. That was intelligence, and it was ruthlessness. So this guy is a big time player at light heavyweight. What's next for him? I don't know. If Jones was to fight Lesnar, then Ozdemir and Gustafsson would be a fight. If they match up Jones and Gustafsson, who could Ozdemir fight? Man, I don't know who is on a roll at light heavyweight, man. I don't have the rankings pulled up, and I don't want to pause the the conversation by looking them up. But they need to, if not a title shot, if not Gustafsson, they need to find another big name type opponent for Ozdemir, man. I watched the Jason Knight Lamas fight. I was hoping Jason Knight would pull it out. I was surprised that he was favored in the fight. Jason Knight, Jackson, Mississippi guy. Again, that's very close to me, only 2 hours away. It would have been nice to see him continue his role, but he got hurt, and he didn't know how to handle the situation, man. I guess inexperience He should have backed away. But he tried to stand in there and keep throwing, and he was getting caught, and eventually got put out. So congrats to Lamas. Congrats to Aljamain Sterling. He beat Renan Barão, who is clearly on the downside. Renan Barão, while he's talking about he wants to go back to 135, that is ridiculous. He needs to fight at 145. But his days of being a top guy, contender, whatever, is over, man. His best days are behind him. I don't know if it was all the weight cuts. I don't know if it was the brutal beatings from Dillashaw. Maybe just time training in the sport, his longevity. But the guy's not the same fighter, man. Because years ago, this guy was an absolute beast. Speed and power of Renan Barão, man. And he's not the same guy anymore, man. A couple years ago, he would have smoked Aljamain Sterling. All right. And I watched the Alexandra Albu Caitlin Curran fight. I thought Albu won that fight. I know some people probably think Curran won that fight, but I thought Albu won 2 of those rounds. The first 2, I believe, if I remember correctly. She is tough. Oh, she is tough. Not only is she fine, and she is fine. Look at the videos she be posting online. But she is tough, man. She can fight. She is a tough chick. She can take a beating and keep coming. All right. Now let me get to boxing. That was all I saw with the UFC. Now let me talk about what happened with boxing. All right. Congrats to Mikey Garcia, man. Mikey Garcia, this fight went as I felt it would go. He did not get the knockout. I thought he would knock Broner out, but I'm not gonna shit on Adrian Broner, not one bit. Broner was tough in this fight, man. He took some hellacious shots, man. Garcia was punching around this guy's guard. He was going to Adrian Broner's body, which was brilliant. The body was wide open, and Garcia attacked. I missed about half of the first round. The fight, they had not even come out yet, and I switched over to UFC to see what was going on. And when I switched back, hell, they had already started fighting. I'm like, damn, that was fast. All right. To describe what I saw, Adrian Broner was looking like the lightweight Adrian Broner. I mean, just from from his physique, from his haircut, his face, his trunks. I mean, it looked like a retro vintage Broner, who was one of the top guys in the game at one point a couple years ago. First round he was looking good. He was using his legs. He was throwing. He was looking good. Maybe he won the first round. I was not judging the fight, but I could see giving him that round. All right, and I believe it was the second round or third round, but I'm sure it was the second round because that was when the fight changed pretty much. All it took was Mikey Garcia to land good on Broner one good time, man, and the fight changed. Adrian Broner ate a shot from Mikey Garcia, man, and once Adrian Broner tasted that power, he got into defense clam up mode. Instead of moving and punching, Adrian Broner was moving, not punching. He was moving. He was up against the ropes a lot of the fight, just getting teed off on. The guy got hit, and the game plan changed, man. The fight changed. That's what happened. And pretty much for the rest of the fight, he got picked apart. He got outboxed. Garcia was not really getting hit flush much until the end of the fight. He got hit a few times. Nose got busted up a little bit. But other than that, man, Garcia was a superior fighter, as I felt he was all along. And he put it on Broner, man. But I give Broner credit. He did not quit. He did not get knocked out. He ate, like I said, he ate some great body shots. And the guy stayed in the fight, man. So congrats to Mike Garcia, man. Mike Garcia should not go up to 147 in my opinion, because I felt Adrian Broner was undersized for 147. he needs to fight at 135 and 140 for the time being. Maybe eventually, maybe he could pick a guy to fight at welterweight. Hell, I would favor him over Jeff Horn. Maybe he could fight him for a title, but if I was managing Mike Garcia, he would be taking fights at 135 and 140. You got Linares, you got Lomachenko, and then he could fight Terrence Crawford and Dongo winner, which would be a dangerous fight. But if he wants to stay at 140 or 135, those are some options, man. So congrats to him. Charlo knocked out a guy who looked like a blown up welterweight, a guy who I had never seen fight. I'm looking at the odds right now. Damn, Charlo, depending on the sports book here, one book had him as high as a minus 10,000 favorite. Ridiculous, man, over this guy, Highland. I can't really shit on the guy because it was a WBC, sort of eliminator to make him mandatory for the Golovkin's belt or Canelo, whoever wins that fight. So, I can't shit on the guy too much, but, that fight was just a whatever kind of fight, who cares? Jarrell Miller and Gerald Washington, I watched that fight. I was watching kind of a poor quality stream of that fight. The announcers were kind of shitting on Washington. I thought Gerald Washington at first he was moving well. I thought his defense against the ropes was fine. I thought he was slipping a lot of those punches. I didn't think he was getting hit flush with a lot of those punches. I thought he was trying to tire out Jarrell Miller, making him move around the ring. He was tagging Miller. I was not overwhelmingly impressed with Jarrell Miller, man. I was not. He seems to have baby arms, man. He just his punches seem to be very, very short armed. Just like he can barely get his arms away from his body when he's punching, man. I think guys like Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, these tall, long guys, man, will give him fits, man. Standing on the outside and picking this guy apart, man. His reach does not seem to be that great, man. Maybe it's the bulk, the muscle that holds his reach back. I don't know. But, of course, if he is pinning you against the ropes, he can cut the ring off very well because he's so big. Jared Washington, it was like he could barely move around in there. Once he's teeing off on these guys, man, the power is real, man. The guy's huge. So, he came through. He won his fight. And, of course, Katie Taylor won her fight. Beating this sister up from Dallas. That was very predictable. We knew that shit was going to happen. So congrats to her and her U.S. debut. Too bad it was not against somebody a bit more competitive than who she fought. So, that's it, man. Let's see. That was a brutal finish. The ref done a horrible job on that. I'm assuming you're talking about with Big John and Cormier DC. The Cormier and Jones fight. Yeah. He was just giving the guy he didn't want there to be any doubt. He wanted to give DC all opportunities in the world, man. I can't understand why he did it. I'm not gonna kill McCarthy over it, But that's pretty much it, man. That's my impressions of everything that I saw tonight. It was a loaded night of fights, man. Boxing and MMA. And again, congrats to all the winners. Congrats to again anybody who played some bets tonight and won. Anybody who played the parlay that I suggested. The triple threat, man. Like I said, Jones, Garcia, and Cyborg, man. They all won. They all came through, and made us money, man. So that's it. If I missed anything, I'll leave a comment in the comment section. Hope you guys enjoyed the fights, and I will check in soon, man. Y'all take care.